The premiere gave us 4 competitions, 3 reality TV icons, and our first clues about where this game might be headed. But there were 3 moments that stood out to me the most, and none of them had anything to do with competitions. Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Today I'm recapping Big Brother's Season 28 90-minute premiere episode. And remember, everything we're seeing tonight has been edited for us, and it kind of is supposed to shape our opinion of the house guests and their gameplay. But here at Chatter Out Loud, I like separating what production wants us to notice from what might actually matter once the live feeds turn on. So I invite you to come back and visit me. In fact, if you wouldn't mind, take a quick minute to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to not only support the channel, but keep up with the BB28 chatter all season long. All right. First, about the episode tonight, I want to acknowledge the memorial frame they did for Mickey from last season. I thought that was very thoughtful. Rest in peace, Mickey. Okay, during Broveal, the first 14 house guests were introduced to us, and I put out a video on first impressions. After recording that video, I then learned that there were 3 more house guests rumored to join the cast. 1 player from Big Brother and 2 from Survivor. Fast forward, 2 of those house guests were confirmed. I put out a shorts video, and those 2 house guests were Angela Murray from BB26 and Rick Devens from Survivor 38, I believe. I watched both Angela and Devens' reel, and really quickly, Angela, based on her intro reel, it doesn't sound like she's planning to dial it back at all this season. And if anything, I think we're probably in for more of the same with Angela. She's almost guaranteed to bring some drama to the live feeds and to the game, period. Devens, well, first, full transparency. I'm not a huge Survivor fan, so I don't know a lot about his game firsthand. But from everything I've read online, one word keeps coming up: chaotic. I'm really curious to see what that looks like in the Big Brother house, because chaos can either be entertaining or completely blow up your game. And so now that all 16 house guests are officially set, let's get into the premiere. During the episode, the house guest introductions didn't change my opinion much from their intro reels. The exceptions were Lyric, Melody, and Haley. With Lyric, I learned she practices eviction law. I just found that interesting, and I don't remember paying attention to that in her intro reel. With Melody and Haley, I thought I saw more personality in tonight's episode. And I also learned that Melody is an only child, which I think will have an impact on her game. And not necessarily a negative impact, but I think it's just important to note. My first observations when they are first in the house. So Jason was the first to enter and Melody was the last to enter. And that's something Big Brother fans note every season. So I thought I'd just throw that out there. Barrett shows an early crush on Ashley. Taylor and Lala, they connected right away. And I can definitely see them working together. So I'm making a note of that. Drew, he's already showing his age. He is the youngest in the house, 22. I think he'll be turning 23. He has already annoyed Melody. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are more people he's annoyed already in the past 2 days. And that kind of energy can wear on people really quickly. He was one of the first that realized there were only 14 house guests. At least that's the way it was edited. And he knew that there were going to be more players. So that shows like he's a fan. Plus he knew who both Angela and Devens were. Yeah. We got to see Enzo. I kind of like Enzo. He was fun to watch on both of his seasons, but I can't forgive him for what he did to Desi on the challenge. Anyway, we see Enzo and Meow Meow Enterprises. That always cracks me up. Meow Meow Enterprises. Okay. And they kick off the first competition of the season. The house guests learn about the dining table twist as it's revealed as a time machine, and then the comp starts, right? We get 3 groups of 4. They compete to bring back a reality TV icon. And I just want to talk about this first competition with the house guests having to find the correct BB-tonium to activate the time machine. So the correct BB-tonium are the vials with numbers that adds up to the number on Enzo's jacket. There are only 12 vials, so 2 of the 14 house guests won't have a chance at safety because they have to go around the house finding the vials, look at the numbers on the vial, add them up to 20. All right, we all saw this. The thing that cracked me up was Ashley didn't know who Enzo was. I'm convinced she didn't know who Enzo was. She kept saying, I couldn't find Enzo. I couldn't find Enzo. And I'm thinking, wait, what? He was the one who talked about Meow Meow Enterprises. Like, how do you not know? And she's supposed to be a fan. So I was just confused at Ashley's confusion. But nevertheless, Ashley and Barrett, they were the 2 that didn't win their chance for safety. Next, the house guests competed in 3 rounds to bring back Angela, Devins, and Rachel Riley. Seeing Rachel, were we all like, what? I was really, really surprised. And my first thought was, she gets to play again? I was shook. That was a good one, CBS. Now that the 3 reality TV icons are there, only Angela, Devins, and Rachel, the 3 icons, get to compete for the HOH. So all the house guests are now back at the dining room table and they're ready to time travel. And on a side note, the dining room time travel table, how are they going to keep this up? Like the disappearance of the table throughout the entire season? Like, is production having to move this table with every competition? Like, I want to see how this works out. Okay. They time travel. Oh my God, it's tongue twisting. They time travel back to Jurassic period. They were all dressed like the Flintstones in the cheetah print. And in the middle of Rachel's tirade, nobody gets in between me and and I think she was getting ready to say game. The next thing we know, the dinosaur comes in and ends Rachel's game by pushing her into the volcano. And low key, I was okay with that. I felt good about it. All right, so Rachel is out and Angela is so happy. She expressed a lot of joy. In that moment, I just thought that this was kind of a clever tactic to introduce Dee from Survivor. I liked the approach that they took. I thought that was pretty cool. For a second, I thought I would have to redo my entire cast collage with their pics. Having to add Rachel. But luckily, at the end of that episode, Julie gave us a clue traveling back to December 20th, 2023, and that immediately confirmed that Dee is replacing Rachel, and she will be the 3rd reality TV icon entering the game. All right, before I get into my final thoughts, here's my biggest takeaway from the premiere. I thoroughly enjoyed the premiere. We got 4 competitions, a little more insight into the house guests, beginning to see their approach to the game. Rome, Chuck with no C, and Jason are all safe for the week. Rachel Riley returned in the game for one segment, and by the end of that same segment, her game ended. And we were left with the cliffhanger that pretty much confirmed Dee will replace Rachel as the 3rd reality TV icon entering the Big Brother game. Now, at the start of my video, I mentioned looking back on the premiere, there are really 3 moments I'm leaving with. And those 3 moments are 1, Angela already trying to establish herself. 2, Lala naming Angela immediately as a target. And 3, Jason quietly planting seeds about Devins. And what do I mean? All right, 1, Angela is already showing me 2 of my preseason red flags. She's trying to run the house and HOH-itis. So hear me out. She was the first head of household on her first season in BB26. And I can't help but wonder if she's carrying some of that confidence into this season. She's coming across like someone who believes she already knows the blueprint for the early game. Now, she did finish 6th, as she reminded us in her intro. So she clearly did some things well, I suppose. But what stood out to me wasn't necessarily her resume in the game. It was her confidence. And that confidence could become an asset for her in this game, or it could become one of her biggest blind spots. And so with that said, I think Angela's game could already be in danger. And as I mentioned earlier, Lala actually said out loud that Angela would be her first target. And I need to go back to see who she said that to, because I think that matters. But I also wouldn't be surprised if other house guests are thinking the same thing. And honestly, they probably should be, right? All right, number 2, speaking of Lala, she's not exactly safe this week, right? She didn't win the safety. So I found it interesting that she was willing to say, targeting Angela. I found it interesting that she said that out loud and so early, right? So is she playing hard? I'm not sure. Once I figure out who she shared that with, I have to go back and look. That'll be someone I'm watching closely, because it could be the beginning of an alliance, or at least tell us where her trust is starting to form in the game. And number 3, I may have already spotted the beginning of an alliance between Jason and Lyric. Jason told her, this is right after Devins came in. That's what I'm reading my notes. Sorry. Jason told her that Devin is someone not to trust. He said he can't be trusted. Clearly, he knows Devins is from Survivor. So he know who this person is and his gameplay. And he has some thoughts about how he plays, right? Chaotic, or chaos is what I keep seeing online when I read about Devins. Now, the edited version on tonight's show showed us Jason saying that to Lyric, and I think that was intentional. But Lyric's response was simply noted. And it makes me wonder, how many people did Jason tell the exact same thing to? Now, production, as I alluded to earlier, clearly they wanted us to notice that conversation between the two. But the question is whether it'll actually matter once the live feeds turn on. So that's something I'm definitely going to be watching for. Yeah. I'm so interested to see who wins this first HOH. Angela, Devins, or D. I keep saying D because Julie's clue confirmed it for me. But technically, I think they're going to announce it on Unlocked. So we'll know for certain who that third reality TV icon is on tomorrow's Unlocked. Once those live feeds turn on, I'll come back here to report, give you guys updates. And just a heads up, my live feed updates will have spoilers. And I'll do my best to mention that before I share those details. I try to remember. So I'll do my best to do that. So now I want to hear from you. What did you think of Big Brother Season 28's premiere? Let's chat it up in the comments. And I just want to see something. So if you made it all the way to the end, leave me a house emoji in the comments. I'll know exactly what that means. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.